Welcome back to a special edition of Meet the Press Daily, live from the debate spin room here in Miami. We've said it before in politics. Sometimes it's all about that base. So, what are Democratic voters going to be watching for tonight? Let's dive right back in. Joining me here on set is Maria Teresa Kumar. She's an MSNBC contributor and the president and CEO of Voto Latino. And Karine Jean-Pierre is also an MSNBC contributor, and she's the chief public affairs officer with Move On. Both very knowledgeable about different parts of the Democratic voting base. So,
the American base.
The American base. Oh, right.
The majority of the country.
It is.
But just in general, I'm curious of what the other side is thinking too, so that we can bring the country together.
Oh, well, that's
right.
Boy, let's try to solve one problem at a time. Figure out this Democratic primary problem.
It's possible.
All right, Maria. I think it is. There's always one story that sort of infuses or informs a debate. The picture this morning of this migrant father and his daughter, and it is you don't need words. You know exactly the story. It may have done more than any press release or soundbite could have come. There's no way to distinguish yourself as a candidate on this issue. That's kind of a silly way to look at it. What do you want to hear? What do Democratic voters want to hear tonight about how to solve this?
To be quite frank, patriotism.
Yeah, it's an interesting way.
And the reason I say patriotism is that we crafted asylum laws, and the father took the journey from Guatemala to our border because we promised him that if he can touch foot on American soil, he could actually seek asylum.
He'd have a chance.
He would have a chance to seek asylum.
Maybe he doesn't get it.
No,
but
under our laws, he had a chance to basically say, and that is what that father did. And think about the fact that this father basically was born on undue circumstances. None of us know where we're going to be born.
That's right.
It's a flip of the coin. And he said, I'm going to America because I do not want my child to be trafficked. I don't want them to be involved in gangs. I'm trying to give her a chance. And I have to tell you that the reason this is important is that the reason that he had to take that journey is that the President of the United States decided that he is going to thwart our asylum laws. Judges, our courts have actually said that what he is doing is wrong.
Let me play now the President's sound today when he was asked to react to the photo. Take a listen, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's like I've been saying. If they fixed the laws, you wouldn't have that. It could stop immediately if the Democrats change the law. They have to change the laws. And then that father, who probably was this wonderful guy with his daughter, things like that wouldn't happen. The asylum policy of the Democrats is responsible because they will not change the asylum policy. But now, for the first time, they're starting to talk about it.
All right, Karine, look, we could set that aside. This is always this president presented with a moment that the feel your pain, whatever you want to call it. It's just not in his DNA. No. Okay, that we've learned. No. But we are having. He says the Democrats need to change the asylum law. I think we don't frame this debate correctly sometimes. We are essentially having a debate about how do you define America.
Right.
I'm sorry. Look, because if you change the asylum laws, it's just changing our place in the world. Maybe that's politically what the country wants to have a debate about, but that is what we're debating.
Right, and what Donald Trump is doing, he's basically saying if you're brown or black, if you're coming certainly from the southern border, the country is closed and you're not welcome. And that is what he is saying. Look, I came into this country with my parents, and we were lucky. We landed in JFK. And these folks are coming from a situation that is clearly really tough for them. And they're taking, some of them are walking 1,000 miles to get to the border. And he did it the right way. The father, his daughter, and his wife, they did it the right way. They closed the bridge. They said, you can't come in. And then they got desperate. Like so many others, they got desperate and went that way. And look, Donald Trump has been very clear on his immigration policy. That is how he got into the White House. Right. That is all about what he did. He went into, he used the economy to give people fear by using others. And it is just infuriating to see.
And Maria, but here's let's be realistic. When emotion is involved in the immigration debate, it becomes impossible to solve.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Like,
yes, but
the president has driven one kind of emotion.
Yeah.
This obviously drives another kind
But I
of
think we should level set. He keeps saying that the Democrats are the ones that run. These are laws that were bipartisan
Yeah.
For
are
years.
on the
For
books.
years.
Decades.
We actually exported them to the rest of the world. Like let's level set. The other thing is that when he says that he wants to fix it, he has no intention. When he zeroes out aid to actually address the issues at the root cause of these countries, and basically says continues to go, when he actually closes out the shop and says, you know what, I don't want the kids to go to their country of origin to seek asylum, he has no intention. But what he's trying to do is that he's trying to fool the American people. And I can tell you that it's been a year ago today when Voto Latino did Tornillo, when we marched with over 500 people from across the country. And you know what was most interesting and what really filled my heart is that it was nonpartisan. Republicans from the Midwest showed up because they said, this is important to us. And that is what when I talk about patriotism, is that we actually know better because we know what we were built on and what right now what he's trying to do.
All right, I want to move to the debate overall. Corinne, move on. You guys did your, I guess, call it straw poll.
poll.
Virtual straw poll.
Yeah, not
Digital.
scientific.
I
but-
understand that.
Yep.
What's your explanation for why Elizabeth Warren has sort of pulled ahead of Bernie Sanders?
So I want to just go back to 2015 for a second, because we had a Run, Warren, Run campaign in 2015. Move On did, and she was kind of the progressive voice for our members at the time, and she didn't run, and Bernie Sanders stepped into that space. And I think what we're seeing now, yes, Bernie Sanders, ran in 2016. It was a binary choice. It was very clear on what you can get from one candidate versus the other candidate. Now you have multiple choices. There are multiple alternatives. That's the beauty of having such a large and diverse primary.
Very quickly, what would be a mistake for these candidates tonight?
Character assassination.
Interesting.
I would say that what the American people, they already have a president in the White House that does that very well.
So don't be a basher.
Don't be a
Whoever
basher.
it is.
Don't be but know your policy. People they're looking for audacious, broad goals. They actually want to see, how do you give us hope, and how do we take you in? How do you take me into the future? Also knowing that as they're talking for those 7 great minutes of, they're going to say, can you go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump? But build your own ring.
And the base doesn't want to see a food fight.
No,
they want to see big ideas. They want to
build
see
your own
how
ring,
you're
get it
gonna
up.
Move it forward.
All right.
Yeah.
Maria and Corinne, that was a terrific discussion. Thank you both.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.